Dashboards are no longer just dashboards. AI can generate charts in seconds, leaders expect real-time insights, and attention spans are shorter than ever. So here's the big question. If AI can build visuals, what makes a data professional valuable in 2026? And which skills will actually keep you relevant, not replaceable? That's exactly what we are unpacking today. Welcome to another episode of TechSpire, the podcast where we explore skills, strategies, and mindset shifts shaping the future of technology and digital careers. I am Sujit, your host for today's episode on data visualization skills for 2026. Visualization is no longer just about building charts, it's about driving decisions, clarity in complexity, and increasingly, it's about collaborating with AI while maintaining human insights. Whether you are a student, analyst, BI developer, or data architect, understanding where this field is headed could define your next career move. To help us break this down, we are joined by Rohit Kakkar, architect at Kalpita Technologies, with over 17 years of experience in reporting analytics. Rohit specializes in designing Power BI dashboards and data models that transform complex data into clear, actionable insights. Rohit, welcome to TechSpire. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So, Rohit, you have witnessed the evolution of data visualization from traditional reporting to today's AI-assisted, insights-driven systems. So, let's start by zooming out before we dive into the future. So, as an architect, what's the biggest shift you have seen in data visualization in the last 5 years?
So, with the evolution of AI in data visualization space, what has happened here is the focus has moved from being a report builder to being on the design side, because a lot of reports which we were building when AI was not there, we used to do a lot of manual work there. But what has changed now is the focus has moved towards having real-time reports or decision-focused reports being in place. Now you have visuals being created which are real-time, which you can directly integrate with all the other operational metrics. So the stakeholders and the users who are working with those visuals or using those visuals or those reports, they are generating more business insights in an easier and in a faster way with the evolution of AI. So that's some focus which we see has changed in the recent times.
Yeah, so that's a powerful shift from reporting the past to actively driving decisions.
Yes.
So let's talk about the skills needed to operate in that kind of environment. So what are the core technical skills does a data professional absolutely need for data visualization in 2026? So like in tools, languages, or platforms?
Okay, so if we talk about tools, I would not say a single tool, or I would not mention a particular technology which would be needed by all the professionals who would want to take up data visualizations as their career in the year and going beyond. What I would say, it's a complete tech stack which one needs to understand. Okay, in the tech stack, the first and most important thing comes out to be your SQL. And when I talk about SQL or SQL, it doesn't. I don't mean that simple select statements we are writing there, right? What I want is, what I see is, one needs to be focused on learning the complex things in SQL. How to write complex queries, how to use Windows functions, how can a query be optimized, how can you do a performance tuning on a query. So all these things will be very important in terms of the SQL skill which a person should have. The second skill in the tech stack which I would be saying it's very important is knowing a particular scripting language. It can be Python, it can be JavaScript. When it's Python can help you generate insights, it can help you do some data engineering on it. Similarly with the JavaScript as well. So the second most important or the core skill which I would look at is probably a scripting language like Python or JavaScript. And the third thing which is essentially important, you may be knowing SQL in and out, you may be good at coding in the language I spoke about, but what is very important is, again, how do you have that design knowledge. Basically, you need to think about how to create your own semantic model in such a way that the data is very well cleaned, The visuals, whatever they try to generate the insights, those insights are generated in a very accurate manner. So that's the third skill. And the fourth, last but not the least, is obviously AI. So how to use AI, how to enable AI with your current metrics or data which you have to answer questions in very simple native language. As in, let's say for example, okay, what does this visual do? Okay, what should I go ahead to improve these numbers? So these are certain things which AI can help you answer. But that's another skill which we should know, how to give the right prompts to AI so that your data can be generating better insights. So this is the whole tech stack which I feel is very important in terms of the core skills in 2026 and beyond.
That's a strong foundation, especially the emphasis on modeling, cloud, and AI readiness. Now, how is AI changing the daily workflow of someone doing data visualization, and what's actually different now?
Okay, so I would take a simple example in our real lives. Okay, previously we used to have bikes wherein you used to take it out. Okay, you need to turn the you kick off the bike, and then you pump air in it, and then give a hard push, and then the bike used to start, right?
Yeah.
Things evolved. Now we stopped doing that push of air into the kick of the bike. We simply had to just kick the bike and go. Now you have something called self-start, okay, wherein you just press a button and you're off to go. So this is something similar, not exactly the same, but yeah, I mean, it's like a metaphor for what AI is currently doing in our lives. Okay, AI has made things faster. The kind of work which we were doing earlier, we are doing the same work now, but the amount of time which we are taking now has reduced. Okay, we are let's say for example in terms of reporting. Okay, in reporting earlier we were spending a lot of hours in in Power BI writing calculated measures or DAX, cleaning the data. All of these activities we were spending a lot of time, but with the help of AI tools which help you do these jobs, that time has been reduced. So that ways our work has become faster. So we are building prototypes in a very faster way, but again at the same time we are getting that more time, whatever time we are saving on this prototyping, that extra time and that more time we are getting to do work on the modeling part of it. How to design a good semantic model, how to generate great insights out of your data. So that part of thing is still there, but with the evolution of AI, which is assisting in doing the initial prototype jobs, that productive work is being done more on the modeling and the design part of it, rather than working towards the doing the basics of the reporting, which we were spending a lot of time on. So I think that's a very good shift which I see in general.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the role is moving from manual builder to strategic designer now. So this brings us to something closely connected called storytelling. In 2026, is data storytelling just a buzzword, or is it truly a distinct skill? What does good storytelling with data look like in practice?
Okay, so storytelling is definitely not just a buzzword. It's a very distinct skill to have in the current times and for future. Why I say that is because you have professionals who can work on creating reports, who can have some skills and knowledge around designing a report or creating visuals, but at the same time, what that visual wants to say, what is the story we want to derive out of it, that is something which is really important, and not every professional would be having that knowledge. Okay, you may be working on multiple domains. You may have knowledge of multiple tools in this space of reporting and analytics. You can learn those skills. You can bring in those skills onto your work. You can generate those reports, but if you're not able to give a good storytelling out of it, which can help the business users, it doesn't add meaning to it. So I would still say having a good storytelling is a very distinct skill which one should always have, so that you can enable your data and your visuals which you're generating can give better insights to the business stakeholders, and they can make some good decisions out of it.
That really reframes storytelling as a decision tool, not just presentation. And that naturally connects to design principles as well. So, what UX or design principles should every data visualization practitioner understand by 2026, even if they are not designers?
Great. So there are multiple design principles or UX principles which visualization professionals should ideally focus on if they want to, have that great capability of generating good insights and enabling insightful and meaningful reports. To name a few, I would start off something, if I can call it as clarity. When I say clarity, it means it doesn't matter whether your visual which you're using on the report is visually looking very good or not. What matters is that a user who's looking at the visual should be able to understand what the visual wants to say in a fast way. Okay, so even if it's a very simple visual, but if it is very easily readable, you can get good insights out of it within seconds. That defines clarity. So let's keep it simple and make it more meaningful is what I would say. That's one principle you should follow. The second principle which we should follow is, design your report or your visuals or a dashboard in such a way that the most important thing on the dashboard is the most dominating thing on the dashboard there. Okay, so you can reduce the other, whatever other things are on that page or on that visual, they can support that particular thing which is the most important, which is the most dominating thing on the dashboard. So you can make the other things support that, but make it very defining that, okay, this is something which we want to focus on. This visual or this page is something which defines X particular decision. So that's the other principle. The third principle I would say is, if you talk about, there is something called cognitive management. So when you talk about cognitive load management, we are talking about making the business users or the stakeholders do less work at their end to understand things. Make it in such a way that it's very easy to understand, right? They do not have to put in a lot of mind to identify and find out, okay, what this visual or this report wants to say. So this is the another principle. And finally, what I would say is, try and make your visuals, your reports, your data to be AI ready, so that you can scale it up. Okay, you don't want to make your data stay in that particular report or in a visual and be there only when somebody wants to use it, then they open it and see it. Let's make it AI generatable so that it can be scaled up for better insights as well in future. So these are the few principles which I would say are very important.
That's great checklist. Clarity, hierarchy, and decision focus. Let's make this practical for someone just entering the field. If someone is starting in 2026, what would a 90-day roadmap to job-ready data visualization skills look like?
Okay. So if you break it in 90 days, I would break it in three phases, I would say. The first phase can be, let's say, for the first 1 month, or from day 1 to day 30, if I would say. That in the day 1 to day 30, one should focus on the fundamentals or the basics of, a data, in terms of what our data definition is. Okay, what do you mean by a measure? What is a dimension? What are grants? What are granularity at a data level? What is meant by KPI? So these are the few data definition fundamentals which one should understand when they start building their career in data visualization area. That first month is very important on the basics or the fundamentals. Then from day 31 to day 60, or the second month, which I would say, the next month should actually be spent on understanding the modeling concepts and the designing concepts. Okay, how do you define a star schema? How do you define a snowflake schema? What is the difference? How do you have improve performance on a semantic model? How do you actually design it efficiently? So these are the few things which one should focus on. Of course, cardinality, I forgot to mention that. How do you define relationships? Which is a better relationship to be defined? So these are the few basics of designing which one should understand within the second month. And then finally, the last month should be on your picking up a tool and learning how to use the tool. Whatever you have learned whatever definitions you learned in your first month, whatever data designing principles or concepts you learned in your second month, try to put it in place using a tool. Create small reports or projects as a sample, build an end-to-end project, bring in whatever you have learned there, try to clean up the data, play around with the data, and then present it. So when you present it, when I say present it, it can be done on multiple platforms. You have LinkedIn, you have GitHub. Showcase your work, try to get in input from the users who are actually in that space, and that's how you'll be learning and growing your skills and building your career in the data visualization area.
Yeah, that's a very structured and practical roadmap from foundations to executions. Now, for people already working in analytics, what's the one upskilling move that gives the highest ROI this year? Like new tool, new domain, or new soft skill, whatever it is.
Okay, so for upskilling, or I would say for good ROI for the coming years, for any professional who is already working in this space, it's not about a domain. Again, it's not about a particular reporting tool or a technology or a language. It's actually a soft skill of thinking strategically or thinking in a structured way. So when you're creating a report, you may be a report builder, understandable, but you need to be a report designer as well. That's what the key thing should be. You need to understand how are you, again, it all comes down to how are you enabling your report to be decision driven. Okay, so it should be a decision designing, structured designing thinking. That's the most important soft skill, which I would say will be giving you a good ROI in future when you are working with no matter any technology or any tool.
Well, that sounds great. Focusing on executive communication over just new tools. Looking ahead, let's talk about what might become less important. What's the one data visualization skill that's overrated today and likely to matter less in future?
Something which is very overrated, or I would say something which will become overrated in future, would be the manual effort which you're putting in there. Like I said earlier as well, if you're spending a lot of time on creating a visual, writing measures, identifying manually which charts or which visual you should use on your report, that is something which is which is going to be something which will not be very important, because we already have AI doing that work. Okay, so that ways this will become very overrated in future. But at the same time, why that will happen is because we have AI doing all those things for us. Okay, so whatever manual effort or whatever manual work we are doing in terms of doing the prototyping or data cleaning, that particular skill would actually become a more overrated in future, I would say. And since we will start using AI for all those capabilities, and what we should be focusing on again in future would be on I would say generating business insights. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
that's a bold but realistic take, especially with AI automating more of the visual layers. So on the flip side, what's an underrated skill, something almost nobody puts on their resume, that you believe will be a superpower for data visualization professionals in the next few years?
Yeah, see, when you talk about professionals writing their skills in resume, everybody will be writing about, okay, I know this tool, I work on this technology, I have knowledge on this particular language platform. But very few people, or I would say not anybody, would be writing about that how are they doing, how is their decision knowledge or their design knowledge. Okay, so that's something which is a very important skill, like I said. So design knowledge, if you bring it in your resume, if you highlight how do you work on creating great semantic models, how do you work on defining decision-driven reports and your visuals, that's where that skill is going to be very important. And that is something which, if you're not doing it, we should start doing it going forward.
Decision architecture, yeah, that's a strong concept. Before we close, I would like to end with something practical. Finally, a 30-second advice to someone feeling behind on data visualization in 2026, what would you tell them to do this week to get back in the game?
So the simple advice would be take up small pieces. Okay, take up a small report which is very messy currently. Okay, try to clean up that report, build it once again. Take only one visual or one page for that particular report to start off with, because which is very messy, and then try to clean it up. Try to work on that visual, define that visual in a different way, and try to come up with one business decision related answer which you think would be answered from that particular page or visual. So if you start from those small steps, you bring those pieces together, slowly you'll be able to understand how to translate that into bigger projects. So my advice would be to take these small steps as you build your project, learn the basics, put those basics into your practice, and then see how your report generates outcomes or insights for the stakeholders.
That's encouraging. Small, focused improvements can compound over time. Thank you, Rohit, for sharing such practical insights with us today. This was a truly valuable conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. It was a pleasure sharing the ideas on AI and what the future looks for us, all of us.
To our listeners, the future of data visualization isn't about prettier dashboards. It's about smarter decisions. The tools are evolving fast. The real question is, are your skills evolving with them? This is TechSpire by Kalpita Technologies. I'm your host Sujit. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you like to explore the top data visualization tools shaping 2026, check out our latest blog on kalpitatechnologies.com. We'll see you next time as we continue decoding the future of business technology. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.